I gotta drink a little mic. But yo, what's up? You know, I know it's Friday, man. End of the week, you know, getting to the end of the weekend. Hope y'all enjoyed y'all week, you know, had some positivity during the week. Out here with London Los.
Yes, we coming at you live. We definitely came with a new episode. This time around, we want to bring in 2024 on a positive note, and on top of that, continue to check in with y'all, keep y'all updated about ourselves, and jump into some topics for the week, topics for the month actually, because you know we've been in a little drought, so
it's the end of the month too, shit.
Yeah, let's give y'all that check in. So overall, how's your week been going so far, or just this first month of January?
Excuse me if you heard the little mic, but I say the first month of January, it's been like. I always look at January, people look at it like, oh, this beginning of the new year, I gotta go crazy. I've been looking at it like personally, like especially for this year, with me turning 25, my birthday was the 11th, so yo, I'm 25 now, I'm up there with you.
Don't try to make it seem like I'm an old head or anything like that.
Not yet, but the week been smooth though. Like, I work like 6 days this week, but honestly, it's been a smooth week, like just every day I've been kind of like recollecting, like at the end of the day, like, kind of just looking at the day, like what I want to get planned, what I want to plan for the week, reaching out to people that like any like projects and stuff I want to work on, getting that set up, like basically reach out to you this week. And I was like, let's do an episode. I got another homie I'm trying to do. He's on live and stuff earlier. We talking about the gym episode thing. I got a homie who want to basically work out, and then we're gonna kind of mini vlog / podcast it. Mm-hmm. So hopefully I can get you to come with me that day, because I'm planning on the day that we both off. So.
True.
That'll be smooth.
We can figure something out.
Yeah. Just, more content for y'all, but hey, the week been smooth. Like I said, there's more reflection this week. If I want to go back on the whole month of January, I've been taking it slow and I like it. I don't feel like I'm overly putting pressure on myself. I'm just like, it's January, we just transitioned out of 2023, going into 2024, slowly build my wall or whatever, I guess my house. And making sure every layer is, stuck on there. So instead of just rushing through it, like, oh, I gotta get this done, I gotta get that done. It's only January, it's the first month. It don't happen that fast. So definitely.
I'll say, I had kind of like a rough, little rough exit out of December going into the new year. But like,
you was hoping that they noticed.
Funny as hell. No, but for real, like. It was a little mental rough patch, and I kind of committed myself to it in a sense where like I didn't pull myself out of it. I just allowed it to happen, and it was interesting because coming into the month of January, I already knew that I was gonna have like positive mindset, outlook, and things like that. And
most definitely,
it wasn't much of a setting goals, doing the whole cliche New Year, new me thing or anything. It was more about just recentering myself. Reflecting on what I needed to wrap the last year up on, and just kind of pushing forward on what's my focus and goals set for this year in general. Gotcha. Just, recentering my mind, making sure I'm refocused. And ultimately, this month has been pretty solid. Like, we'll highlight a little more in depth later, but I got some good news as far as my job goes, so that's like a good positive aspect. I definitely had some good communication and like catch up with family and friends back from home.
Same.
Felt like I hadn't talked to them for a little while, and I know the last time we ended on a good note, it was checking in with family and friends, making sure anytime you think of your family, talk about family, anything like that, you reach out. That word always makes a difference.
Yeah, regardless of how busy it get, I get we all got our own lives, especially like I said, if you're in your 20s, your 30s, life be life. So.
Yeah, but it was nice though, got to talk to the OG and everything like that, catch in with, my little sister, brother, all of that. It was pretty good, and just they've been pretty good, good check-in and everything, and ultimately, it was just peaceful transition, and everything is still playing on its time for me.
Gotcha.
So like I don't feel rushed or like I'm dragging it all. I know as far as the podcast goes, we definitely seem like we making good headway and in the sense of putting in good solid work and just connecting and collaborating.
To not cut you off, but I like that, like in a sense, like I was thinking about that when we were talking about it the last time, just one-on-one with each other. I was like, I'm not mad that we taking our time with it, because like there's no point to just like it's got this content creator I follow. He like basically teaches you how to like transition strategies with your content, regardless of what it is. And it's like one of the things he said was like not rushing and just putting a bunch of content out. He was like, because you can put a bunch of content out, but it's not quality. So he was like, you got the quantity, but your quality is terrible. So it doesn't get you an audience or don't build you a community. And that's like our whole thing behind our podcast. We're Born Unfiltered. We want to build a community with y'all of, like you said, that where it's real personal. Like we talk about stuff that people want to hear, stuff that we want to hear, stuff that we know that's gonna help not only ourselves but help other individuals out there in the world. So that's something we definitely want to do.
And definitely, we always encourage feedback, criticism. Also, give us extra topics to talk about or things that we should probably highlight
Drop them in the comments
in the next episode, so that way we know, hey, our audience is paying attention and they are, connecting with us in a way of you are part of the show as well. Until we get guests on, of course. So
exactly. Like I said, we want to make it not just about us, but about you all. Like I said, that's the whole thing. If it's helping you, that's what we want. Like I said, we love the topics. Like you said, y'all reach out to us, DM, put in the comments something you want us to talk about, because it does help. Like I said, it helps not only us, it helps you, and it gives you good content for us to give to you all. So we do appreciate it.
So jumping into our podcast segment now, one of our topics that we wanted to discuss today was going over authenticity in the digital age.
Most definitely.
Basically, we want to explore the impact of social media on our lives. We want to try to discuss, strategies of maintaining authenticity within ourselves, but also within our content of what we put out into the
like
world.
Our reputation for like our content reputation.
Right. Things like that. And also just addressing the pressure to, not feel like we're part of the trend. And we are still being organic and authentic to ourselves and our character.
Gotcha. I kind of dive in there real quick. So to start off, what London is saying is like, we want to keep it authentic, like fully authentic. Like we know like a lot of people talk about the podcast space is like, getting crowded or not working anymore and people are falling off. And it's just like, man, as long as you working hard, whatever you working hard in, it's going to keep going as long as you going. That's one. Keeping it authentic, like you said, not like biting off of other people's ideas or what they talking about. Of course, we all human. We've all disciples been through life. We gonna all talk about something that might be similar. That's just within whatever you do. So you might hear a song where somebody might say the same thing. That's whatever you do. But we just want to keep it authentic in an aspect of, like you said, keeping it true to ourselves, keeping it true to our authentic reason behind why we started this podcast and what we want, or what's our plan and our strategy for this podcast going into the year 2024 and for the whole next 11 months or so.
And I noticed one of the things that this is no shade towards anybody else's podcast or anything like that.
Yeah, we're gonna do that.
But we are authentic and we keep it unfiltered. So like a thing that kind of bothers me with the podcast or content that I get from some of these podcasts that's been out as of late, and also probably could be what I've gravitated or been kind of looking at. So that's what I'm seeing. But,
so is this like also not just audio podcasts, like video?
More so video podcasts because I'm on YouTube a lot.
Gotcha.
And I see a lot of the like men's development or like kind of like this conversation
that's been a big
controversial discussion between women and the dating market, men in the dating market, and how negative the setup can be and misleading. Because I notice a lot of times when I see people sit down and talk with each other, they try to seem like they come off with this message or motive or theme as if they're trying to build up the community and they're trying to shed light towards improvement and things that we need to focus on. But a lot of times their vocabulary, also their tone, and how they carry the conversation, more so not just individuals' tone and how they speak amongst one another.
Yeah.
And also somewhat selectiveness of like-minded people.
Yeah, I
have
noticed that.
conversations.
I noticed that where it's like, it's kind of like, I seen one that you shared to me, I mean, I'll cut you off. One you shared to me, it was kind of like half of the group was like kind of ganging up on one person. It's like, you purposely kind of brought, like you said, like-minded people for that reason, because now it's like, so that oddball in the group say something different, now you got 8 people about to, gang up on them and like just talk shit about them, basically.
Right, but I think And that's a deeper subject, I think, because that's more looking at the individuals that you're trying to have a conversation with and knowing exactly how they can behave and follow the rules, things of that nature to conduct a mature conversation versus, understanding and being open-minded to everybody's mind is different and we're all collaborating on our ideas and thoughts. That's what makes the conversation important. Basically what I'm getting at is that we got to do better as a community of individuals and human beings when we're talking to one another and how we deliver our message, how we dictate the message that we're trying to convey amongst each other, because we can't say we're trying to build up the black dating market and we want one another to see each other with respect and shine a light on each other. But more times than not, a lot of the podcasts that I see highlight and show emphasis in the comments and show emphasis selectively by the clips that's being edited to show, oh, this is how most black women respond, or this is exactly why the dating market is the way it is, or why you should not look to be dating above your, market value or whatever the case.
So you kind of have like an agenda to it with
right.
certain topics.
It's like a hidden agenda, but it's obvious because you can tell what most of them like are trendy in doing.
Yeah.
And it bothers me because it's a certain podcast person that I watch, and this probably be like the first time I shout somebody out. We should definitely be conscious of that too.
Yeah.
But his name is Cooley, and he got this podcast called No Fugazi. And an interesting thing with him is that he still has most women talk, and maybe a guy or two every now and again for racial reasons. But it seems, and I don't watch it in full entirety either. I watch segments of it, but the gracefulness and how he's able to dictate the conversation, try to mediate, move everybody along, keep everybody let everybody speak, not talk over each other, things like that. I appreciate it because a lot of the other podcasts that I've seen, they sometimes get forgetful of that aspect.
Oh no, I've seen it. Not to, like you said, we are unfiltered, but not to call out anybody's podcast. I've seen a couple of them on YouTube, like you said. It's funny how y'all do purposely select those clips. Just because it's like you said, it's trending, but what the sad thing about it is it's very toxic, it's very misleading information. Because if you go sit there and actually watch that whole hour, you will actually see what happens versus that 10-second clip that they post, and it's like, oh, this is just to get the audience attention because it's a heated conversation and everybody talking over each other. Now everybody, like you said, now you're trying to grab the attention of your audience, you all, to go look at their content. It's sick sometimes, honestly.
Yeah, and I definitely understand that, you got to look at the full entirety of something to take the bits and pieces that's learning lessons and things out of it. But still, it's an overarching message of just be mindful of who you're filtering to come to these conversations and also how you exhibit grace while conducting that conversation. Because don't forget, just because you're talking to certain people in the same room as you to show to the world, you're still also talking to the world. Your audience still engages. So when you have certain images that's portrayed or certain behaviors that's constantly portrayed as a trend on your podcast, people comment and they consistently comment and they consistently come back to your podcast because they think that's the hidden message. That's the message that, that's what we're behind, not the learning lessons of, oh yeah, you really are making me a better person. You really are opening my mind in the sense of how to become a better person in my own relationships. And that's what I think more people need to focus on, because it's not just about, oh, this is for fun, this is for shits and giggles. This is really, we're trying to learn and develop as a community. So take that into mind.
Facts. And just to end that real quick, really, I honestly understand what you're saying, because then when I really think of like the full scope of things, like you said with the audience, it's like you putting this content, this video out to the world, like I said, but you're like fading away from the reason you're supposed to put it out to the topic, and it gets like I said, gets misled and stuff. So now you gotta also think when that next generation that's under us and things like that, and our own generation now, and like I said, in the dating market, in the community, whatever. Now it's like this tug of war between everybody, because it's like you put that out there and you left that out there, where it's like, and you didn't try to clean it up, you didn't try to explain it. It's like, no, you left that toxicity out there, and it's like people bit off of. Like I said, now you got all these comments, these reposts of this one specific clip, and now it's this back and forth between men, women, black men, black women, women, women and men in general, or like I said, people with different mindsets, and it's like it does, like that message behind it completely gets thrown out of the fucking video at that point because it's like
It's
everybody goes there.
misconstrued.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree, and definitely I feel like we gave some good highlight on that topic. But moving on to our next topic, we definitely want to give a little light towards men's mental health. I know January, I think January is men's mental health month, right? I think.
I don't keep forgetting some stuff.
But
Man, every month is that men's mental health month.
Exactly, because we always need to check in, just like everybody else in the world. But we want to talk about just our personal strides that we're making. Moving on to our next topic, we want to highlight men's mental health. Basically, what we want to do is we want to conduct a conversation that talks about some of the challenges that we have in our community.
Most definitely.
Also, destigmatizing therapy and how it can be helpful to our community and ourselves. Also, some of our self-care practices that we have, whether it be vices that we use, strategies that we have that we want to share with you that have been useful. Also, any resources that we can highlight and share from what we've seen out there from our research that we want to pass on to the community. Also,
definitely put it, if you do have resources, put it in the comments, share it, like everybody needs it, so definitely put it out there for us.
Definitely. And also, lastly, just strategies for, nurturing our emotional well-being in the sense of just making sure that our modern masculinity is, upheld to its highest standard that we can as a collective group in this modern day, basically. So I'll get us started. Basically, like I was saying earlier, and this is to bring it up, I had like a mental rough patch ending of December going into January and whatnot. And just to dive a little deeper into it, it was more about my adjustment to like a newfound relationship that I kind of started developing.
Okay.
Which it's a beautiful thing. Don't get me wrong.
It's a journey.
Yeah, it is a journey, and it's a short journey so far. It hasn't been too long, but one of the most interesting things has just been us coming together and learning each other and learning each other with intent. And what I mean by that is not just asking 21 questions every other day, or shooting the shit, throughout the whole day, just talking about nothing for real, but meaningful conversation.
Yeah.
Things that actually help you feel more inclined to be around that person.
Like an actual reason to
Right.
go meet up, go talk with this person. Like I said, I like that you definitely mentioned that because that's something I don't feel like a lot of us do. Is like you said, the whole actually having a conversation with intent to like learn about the individual that you potentially want to build a life with, or to have a conversation with.
And one of the things that kind of got me the most was just her past. We gonna put it out there.
He said her past.
But
Then people in the comments, what about your past?
right. I mean, I have a past too. And what's crazy is that I consider myself an open book, and her business is her business, but at the end of the day, it's still a matter of me coming to terms and feeling I'm okay with accepting some of her past, or just me learning about her in that aspect, because that is my person, and I definitely don't want to ruin something too fast like most people can nowadays, or look at a situation as unworthy of investment truly, and then I think that the grass is green on the other side and I could just reset. Because a lot of relationships in the dating market nowadays jump into this pattern of, I give somebody a little bit of my time, I think that we're building something, or maybe I'm wasting time. But when you look at the grand scheme of time itself, how much time was actually given from the moment y'all exchange numbers, interact, whatever, to the moment y'all probably call it quits or make something even more serious? You really got to gauge that, and you got to sit back and take accountability and reflect on what you put into it, what you tolerated from it, and also have asked for improvement of or compromise for, things like that, because that makes a difference in how you appreciate and value that invested time, right? And a thing that I also feel helped me turn it back around was me sitting back, meditating, reflecting, and collect and coming together with that person to have conversations that were geared towards, hey, no matter what, if we're having a mental rut, if we're having, you know, moments where we're overthinking, because a lot of people overthink nowadays.
All the time.
It's not a problem.
I do it all the time, so I know.
Always communicate it. Just it's easy to talk about now because it's very common. But basically, always remembering that no matter what, even if you yourself are having a mental rut, if you have your person, you should always be open-minded, and I might be using the wrong term, but open-minded enough to allow them to pull you out of your rut, to allow them to change the conversation up, to add some positivity, and you accept that positivity. Not you see it, but you don't acknowledge it, and you just continue to be in that rut, because now when your partner is in that rut too, because now that's the bond.
Yeah, two people can't be in a rut, like I say. Two people can't be stuck in the mud.
Right, and now everything's starting to look bad. It's starting to look like, oh, all we do is argue. Oh, all we do is have negative moments. And that's when that roller coaster starts to seem like, oh, when it's up, it's up. When it's down, and it goes for periods of time, and it's never consistent. And I'm not perfect either, y'all. So like, trust me, it's a journey. But I can't say when it followed up with good communication and conversations that, like I said, were meaningful, geared towards like we want to learn more about each other. We are willing to put in the work and investment of bettering ourselves to better love each other, things like that. We felt the energy shift. We felt the overall breath of fresh air. Like, it really felt good. And I want to say I felt it maybe about a week ago or two.
About a week ago.
No.
It's just randomly popped in my head.
Yeah, like, for real, like, I felt it about a week or two ago. Just that overall release of weight off my shoulders. And it was good to feel. And she could feel it too when I reciprocated it through my body language and also my natural energy towards her. Because I didn't have so much, like, built up animosity or whatever. So
yeah, I guess I was saying, like, you basically, like, y'all got, it was fresh air to get on the same page, like truly on the same page, not like, and we kind of agreed to this, and then like I said, it went to that roller coaster up and down.
Right, because somebody is, I think we talked about this last episode too, but a pattern of when you first get to know somebody, where you kind of gauging your investment into someone or a relationship with someone, you putting in, not feeling if they putting in the same amount, and now you pull off. But then they start putting in, and now they can't tell, so now they pull off. And now it's a constant, just back and forth comparison of trying to figure out and overthinking of, are we on the same wavelength? Are we moving on the same accord?
I kind of think of that like, they kind of say like when you like go, you know, we black, but when you go like, but like when you row on a boat, like when you canoeing, like if one person's trying to like, oh, I'm over here, like, you know, I'm trying to put in all that work, he looks to the left, and you're like, the fuck are you doing? And then like I said, now this person starting, you get your ass get tired, y'all basically just like I said, like the boat ain't going nowhere. You just fucking rocking back and forth.
Exactly.
So
yeah, I definitely want to highlight. But do you have anything on your end that you want to bring to the table, topic wise, or just some general personal reflection?
On that, I would say, yeah. Well, this is a small little segment, but I would say with mine is like definitely going to agree, pinpoint a lot of the stuff you said, agreeing with it, just even reflecting on my own like relationship and stuff in the past week and just the past couple months. I would say definitely the communication of being on the same page for sure. Cause I say my own relationship has definitely been a lot of like back and forth, kind of like, it's like I said, like the whole, like we're not really getting anywhere with it. Like it's good when it's good, it's good. When it's up, it's up. When it's down, it's down. In terms of like being on the same page and in terms of what we want to do moving forward, and kind of like what's our, like in terms of our goals or even our own, our like personal goals, and like where I want to move, where I kind of see myself in the next, 1 to 5 years. Now that I'm 25, what you know, pivoting on my life, where do I want to go next? What do I want to do next? And just seeing if those goals align, kind of, if you all understand that, like if me and her goals align, if like I guess our conversation has more so been like, if it does, great, let's figure this out. Let's figure out what steps we need to take in terms of kind of, moving forward. And if it's not, let's pivot and let's talk about what you probably need to do for yourself and what I need to do for myself in terms of hey, at the end of the day, we have to, like you said, you have to give yourself that self-love and that time to yourself in terms of when it comes to your own personal development. And sometimes that can pull people away for good reasons or bring you all together for, you know, a stronger bond. But at the end of the day, I've been looking at it more so as I don't want to force anything. It's like if something's meant for you, I don't want you to basically make a decision based off of what I want to do or what I feel like is meant for me, because it's not fair to you. And for you to drop everything or for me to drop everything, it's like, oh, like I really want to be with you, but this is not, we ain't seeing eye to eye on that. So that's kind of, I'll say definitely getting on the same page with that if you definitely can. Sitting down talking about it, being completely 100, not like being very vague and like here and there, like, I don't know, like maybe, and just letting it go on for weeks and then it's not really no progression behind it. Getting like more so getting back to the point, like you said, like getting on that direct same page where it's like, okay, we above this water, it's a breath, you know, a fresh air kind of just like, okay, we know what we really want to do. This, I guess, like what a lot of women say, clarity, like having clarity behind the conversation or your intents or what you want to do. If that makes sense.
Definitely, and I'm hoping for the best in the situation too. I definitely understand that emphasis on being able to support one another, but also have understanding towards our personal endeavors, because we don't always do everything together in a sense. Sometimes we do things on our own agenda, on accord. For example, like going to the gym. Some couples can do it together and be flowing.
Yeah.
And then some people already have a natural flow on their own, or they have to or want to jump into it on their
But they got their own schedule kind of deal. Like,
type of thing, or own determination and how they see it, own vision more so on how they want to go about something.
most definitely.
And that alluded me to, or segued into this other topic or discussion that I wanted to bring in, which is what's your comfortability with asking or discussing the need for personal time as a man?
I would say at first, like, again, I just turned 25. I would say at first, like, in the beginning of my relationship, and then just reflecting on past relationships, past situations with people, not even just in, like, you know, romantic relationships, but like in relationships in general. My personal reflection on that is really just like, I feel like for the longest, I used to feel bad about it in a sense. So kind of like I'm like, I know you want to hang out with me, so like I feel bad when it's like you ask me, like if I say I'm gonna do something on my own or whatever, I'm going to hoop or I'm going to work out by myself, and it's like, I want to come with you, and it's like, but you, like now I gotta wait for you, and kind of like, for instance, a situation after today where basically I'm off early, so I'm like, oh, I'll go to the gym, you can just meet me there when you're there, but I'm probably gonna leave early because, you know, I'm coming to slide on you to come do the podcast. And it was like the whole like, oh, you don't want to wait, or like, and I'm like, well, if I wait, if I'm being completely honest with you, like I said, me getting my own personal development, being better about that now and being more outspoken with that, I'm like, if I wait, I'm truthfully gonna be top. I'm like, I work at 6:30 in the morning. I'm not gonna want to. The longer I wait, it's the less I'm gonna want to actually go work out and actually get a good workout in. Before I know, like I said before, my plans I have now, meeting up with you, you know, hanging out with you, talking about the podcast, and I'm like, I want to get everything done. I want to be better about if I plan something in my schedule, my day, I want to get that done. I don't want to be like, oh, okay, I push that to the side because this person wants me to do something aligned with their schedule, and it's like, I get that from time to time, but if it's something like truly important, like something I know I need to get done, something I have planned on my agenda, not like I'm just BS and I ain't really got no plans for the day, I'm just randomly finna go to the gym, go do some shit, that's different. But like if I actually plan and like I said, I got a time set, I'm not trying to overly jump around it, and I feel like us as human beings, especially in relationships, the understanding, it definitely has to be a more understanding and a consideration in a sense for both parties in that terms, because it's like, okay, I get it, like you don't, any other time you wait for me, but you got some stuff you got to do, so I'm gonna be understanding. I'm gonna sit back, be more considerate of it, and sometimes I do feel like, you know, men and women, we all different, and that does make men and women bump heads sometimes on certain situations, because, you know, especially once you start to learn yourself more as a man, you get more like strict about certain things, and so it's like, no, like I don't care what you're saying. It's not me being mean to you or anything. I just know what I have set out to do, what journey I have set out to do for my day, and that's what I'm gonna do, regardless of what you want to do. And you have to just be understanding. It's my woman in the relationship. Understand that it's not that I don't want to spend time with you. I don't want to do things with you. I just have things that I need to accomplish for myself.
Yeah.
So kind of like that.
I definitely understand when it comes to more routine scheduling and just like you say, personal endeavors, going into your day-to-day activities, things like that. And I want to speak more on the social side of it when it comes to
Definitely
taking time to personally reflect, think to yourself. I'm a huge advocate on reflection.
He got me into it more.
Basically, like my example is the other day, I had like a bit of a rough patch in a conversation with my person, right? And we kind of had like some awkwardness talking about needing personal time, or just kind of we joked around it like, oh no, like we really don't need personal time or whatever.
Yeah. But again,
Stuff like that. And it's not a matter of like taking a break either, because I know still dating, marketing, relationships sometimes get caught in that mode of thinking,
take a break.
of thinking personal time, but somebody wanted to be separated and be able to mess around and jump into temptation. That's not what I'm getting at. What I'm getting at is more of the matter of taking time to think about your behavior and your actions before you jump into something. Taking time to process and piece together whatever you first initially heard or are responding to before you give an initial response.
Gotcha.
So like if a conversation is starting to get tough and you think you need a moment to kind of gather your thoughts before you address your person and you let them know your feelings or whatever, taking that time to do that. As men, knowing that women want us to be more expressive of our emotions, but be manageable of that balance of knowing how to be stoic, knowing how to internalize certain issues, but also being able to respectfully
deliver, I guess.
Respectfully dictate when we choose to have those conversations and express ourselves, or of an issue or just something that's bothering us or whatever, right?
Yeah.
It was awkward when I kind of like threw it out there in the air, like, hey, like, I'm a little bothered by something, and truthfully, I took us there. It wasn't like she just randomly threw it there or like made it in a way. I even reflected in that aspect and was able to piece together like majority of our conversation was pretty mellow and well. It was more just a matter of just us jumping into that topic and how it kind of like festered on us. And it was interesting because at first she denied it in a way, and then we kind of shrugged it off because I came right back, communicated. But I still wasn't mentally over it. I was still kind of festering on it or whatever. And then it got to later in the day where we talked about it some more or kind of re-highlighted it. And then that's when it ended our night on a bad note. And one of the things that we talked about is being more mindful of how we start our days and end our days. So making sure that no matter what, even if we have a bit of a rough patch throughout our day, that no matter what, we don't go to sleep on a bad note. If one of us is going to work or whatever the case, we don't allow them to go to work on a bad note, because you got to be able to focus on your craft and focus on, starting the next new day positive and not continue to fester on something that's unsettled. If it is, put a pin and come back, but still be able to reassure that person and communicate effectively that, hey, we're going to be on good terms, we're fine in the long run because we're both fully invested.
Yeah.
If you don't do that, you leave room for overthought. You leave room for that grass is green on the other side type of mindset.
Which is more reassurance, like daily reassurance.
And I definitely brought it up again today in that sense, where it was like we spoke, didn't speak too consistent, but when we did get a chance to like talk later in the day, I was able to get out what was on my mind. She was able to get out what was on her mind, and it was really that given time that we naturally took to ourselves to, gather our thoughts, kind of figure out what we truly was getting at yesterday, things like that. That we kind of turned the conversation around, and it still hasn't gotten any better as far as me feeling more comfortable. That's personal time. That's me being honest, y'all. But it's still a work, right? It's still a work in progress. But I was able to kind of stand on business, I guess, today. Just say, just say like, yeah, I'm finna go out to eat. I'm finna work on my personal stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's stuff that makes me happy. So it's stuff that I know, like you were saying earlier, like I gotta be able to do this. And if I dictate my time to you or being available for you, I'm prolonging and postponing something that I also want to invest my time and craft into. That makes me happy and brings me peace.
I like that. Like honestly, that's like the perfect like pinpoint of it. I guess let me not misuse the word perfect because people get a little offended by it sometimes. But that's a great way of like pinpointing exactly kind of what I was trying to explain. Honestly, with that, where you said, like you said, and then like you said, you kind of leave gray area for like. Now I give like I've been hearing this whole boundaries thing, like having your boundaries in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, it's a good thing. I definitely feel like it's something that should be taught at a younger age for us, going into like becoming young adults and becoming grown men and things like that. But it really is the boundaries of like you said. If you were to allow that, now it's like you give her this like thought process of like, oh, anytime I kind of want to hang out, regardless of what he got going on, I know I can kind of mess around with possibly 50-50. He might say F his plans to come hang out with me.
Right. It's like the deeper concept to it, and we can dive into this over, future episodes as well, but the deeper concept is when you start to make yourself available for your person, and granted, they're your person, so of course, like, you making time is gonna feel natural, but it's also still taking time to gauge that balance, because you can have moments where, say, and this depends on who you are as a person, because like if you're not too busy of a person in your personal life, you probably will have time available to go kick it, or your person can come over and spend time, or whatever. But like when you're sitting there, and nowadays everybody has their phone glued to their hand. We can't lie about that, right? We constantly look at our phone to either be on social media, looking for those specific people's texts or conversations, and that adds into that availability of the mind, availability of like your personal time, and overall your personal endeavors that you can be investing in. Because now I'm constantly steady seeking, like, oh, like, did you text me back yet? Did you give me something meaningful to like stimulate my mind, or stimulate that like we're really learning and knowing?
It becomes a bad habit, honestly.
It does, and the part that makes it bad is that when I'm not jumping into my personal like routine like I normally would on a timely structure, it's because I'm lingering around waiting on that. Oh, I'm enjoying this conversation. That's part of my my love language, quality of time, or whatever the case. But it's not understood, I guess, consideration or thoughtfulness or kind of like respect towards us both being on the same type of page. And it's just like, oh, you got your routine that you do. We can still text periodically throughout it. I understand if you can't respond or be as rapid in your response, but I can also meet you we can schedule a gauge that like we'll have dedicated phone conversation time or dedicated time where we had a meaningful conversation, right? Yeah. Balance.
I would say like balance, like I said, having consideration in that. The consideration in like a sense of like a reassurance on both sides, where it's like, hey, I know I ain't talked to you in a minute, but you know what I'm doing. I kind of told you what I got planned. That's kind of what I got for this time block.
Right.
I'll text you periodically, and it's like, don't where it's not like now that person has like said those thoughts like they just not texting me. Like usually they text me,
right?
They're available.
And it's a real thing. Like people pay attention naturally and unconsciously to patterns too. If I know every day you text me at a certain time in the morning because you're waking up, or you think of me at that time, I'm gonna expect that. And the moment I can tell that it's a little off, I can either call it out right then and there, start becoming that nitpicky person, or I could peak game and then I could let my mind overthink on why you don't, right? And that's why having those meaningful conversations, those check-ins, being thoughtful enough to let someone know, hey, this is what's been going on, makes a difference.
Most definitely.
But also as men, on our side in the dating market, we have to be comfortable and we have to be willing to be able to speak up and say, hey, we notice certain things, because we all can, I guess, agree, disagree, This is not to spit game or anything, but little things matter too. As much as the big things matter in relationships, for women, for men, little things matter for women, for men. So at the end of the day, if a pattern to you matters, bro, speak on it. Let them know that, hey, I noticed that this is our pattern. I noticed that this is how you normally talk to me when our energy is good. This is what I kind of notice when it's bad or when it seems kind of stale or stagnant.
Yeah.
So that way we're conscious of it. So that way your partner's conscious of it. Because it's going to, in the long run, help how you all work and put in an investment towards each other and be conscious. But conscious of, like, you know, just overall your actions and behavior towards a person.
Yeah. And again, that all goes into mental health because I know we kind of, you know, it ended up being a little longer than expected, but it's good that it did though, because I feel like it definitely, I know I got clarity behind it in terms of like, now I see the bigger picture behind a lot of things that I do in my own personal day to day and how I respond to certain situations. And now I see how other ways I can respond just by you just sharing your experience, honestly, because it's just like, I didn't really think about that. Like, yeah, us as men, especially like I said, with me being 25 more, like in a sense, I guess they put that in like a category of younger men, whatever, 18 and like 25, whatever.
Right.
But like, I didn't really ever really think of it like that. Like, oh no, speak up on those small things, those details you kind of see. Because me personally, I definitely feel like I've been better at it now, being older. But like in the past, I was definitely that person who like lingered off in thoughts of like, oh, wait, what the fuck? Fuck you usually text me or you usually call me. You ain't tell me, you ain't text me. You didn't even say like what you doing. Now it's like, you know what? Like I said, now you get into that. In a sense, it's very toxic because then you get into like, you know what? I peep gang, and then now you overthinking. It's like, motherfucker over here don't think I'm goofy and da da da. And it's like,
right. And see, that's what we got to be better at as a community and as a whole too, is understanding that whole simp versus alpha male or like alpha female, all of this stuff. Like
that shit should never got started.
Like it's all nonsense to me personally. And what bugs me the most about it is it takes away from feeling comfortable to embrace love, embrace, you know, the power of connectivity, and also being your authentic self. Because at the end of the day, if we're trying to personally take that development, you know, process and route to feel more comfortable to express ourselves, because maybe I grew up in a household where I never got to express myself, whether it be with my family or my parents or my siblings, whatever, to now I want to be able to express myself to my partner, and this is my partner we're talking about. Somebody that on a day-by-day basis, things matter to me and things make me happy. You're supposed to be my peace. I also want to be able to support you in a wholesome manner as well. Exactly. I don't want to feel like if I bring certain issues to the table or if I bring my concerns that they'll get belittled or I'm labeled insecure or, oh, you're simping or this natural. Sometimes it's overthought. Sometimes it's truly a matter of silence, right? Yeah. Oh, you come off weak, so now I lose respect for you. Or, oh, you come off undiscerned or like you don't care, nonchalant. Yeah. Now I lose respect for you. Yeah. Something like that. And now we're not having meaningful conversation. Now we're not investing our full selves. Now we're really not creating and cultivating true traditional love that is meaningful, that's supportive, that's positive and uplifting.
I would say at that point, honestly, to just feed off what you said, it honestly just becomes defensive on both sides. Where now it's like, now you're just throwing shots at each other, you just pinpointing each other's flaws, and it's like I said, you just creating that, I guess like they say, force field of like, I'm just not fucking with you anymore. Now you starting to bring up shit that you shouldn't even brought up. Right. And like I said, it becomes a whole issue.
And you know what's funny to me? And we can dead the topic after this. But what's funny is that nowadays, I don't know if it's just the younger generation or if it's just the dating market in general, but trolling and also like
I hate that shit.
And also but this is the thing. So like you was talking about doing the slight jabs at one another, right? Yeah. I was seeing like on some of these dating apps or just like some of these podcasts that highlight dating apps and shit, that like this trolling concept or mindset, this trend where like somebody is attracted to the asshole. Like that is a common thing too. Like
Oh yeah.
Like women can like an asshole and overlook the average guy that's supposed to simp or trying to like, you know, show them that they appreciate that they see them and shit. You know, but
Oh, this ain't been a thing for
it's
years.
it's so weird to me when I see like, oh, y'all two kind of find a likeness towards each other even though y'all really don't match because of how y'all throw jabs and do this nonchalant communication towards one another. But they're not understanding or they're failing to recognize that unless there's some meaningful conversations that's, I guess, not really seen or acknowledged or cultivated, that's not really going to take y'all anywhere. Because what are y'all really getting at with each other?
It's more like, it's funny, like I said, I feel like it's definitely been a thing for years, and kind of from like just watching movies, shows, podcasts with it. It's almost like it's kind of like a fetish / like kind of turn on thing for those people. It's like, I kind of like that. Like, I like that, the bullshit that you on.
Right, like I like that I'm not fully attracted to you, but like we can talk like friends or something and talk shit nonchalantly enough to the point where we don't feel attacked or triggered by that person saying it, but we like them enough that like I'll tolerate some of that shit that you saying because we're not fully invested in each other.
But then the dumbness behind this, like, as soon as the next person tries that same shit, you get stupid defensive, and it's like, now you chewing their ass, and it's like, but you let such and such do that.
Or you see that toxic trait or pattern that you all have, they still have with other people too. So now you get defensive or you feel territorial or like overthought in your mind.
Territorial.
Because now you don't know how to gauge what you feel towards that person. Y'all never cultivated a traditional relationship or something built on good morals and foundation. And now that you're seeing the game, because it's just the game, be played with someone else now you feel bothered that, oh, I don't have your availability or your consistency to keep playing the game with you right now in this moment.
Yeah.
And once you really know or figure out that, hey, you want to be in a real relationship and not do those ups and downs that come with that, that's when you kind of try to find a way to have meaningful conversation, and it becomes that much harder because it's something that you have to break habits of. It's something that you have to really be willing to dive deep into.
Yeah.
So that was pretty interesting to me when it comes to that. But
on to the next topic.
Right. On to the next topic, cause woo,
hey,
that mental health subject.
That mental health, we pushing 48 minutes. That mental health was about a 20-minute segment, but hey, we hope y'all got something out of that. Seriously, like
For sure.
we gonna get the meaningful clips out of that, not the bullshit clips out of it.
For sure. But
what you want to end with?
Next topic that we was gonna talk about highlight is basically going into like life lessons. We want to share some stories of just growth, positive impact. Also talk about advice for young men that's trying to navigate through any challenges in life.
We talking about like tonight we went out to eat some chicken wings and like we like witnessed like a piece of the chicken where like the dude who cooked the chicken beat the chicken ass.
No, that's not.
I'm just whooping.
That's not a real challenge.
That's a life lesson. Like you don't want to get whooped your ass whooped like that chicken.
Look,
like
right. But at the end of the day, on a serious note, for real, we also want to talk about education, career choices, or just personal development overall. So like, this is the subject, just life lessons, embracing it. Do you want me to start, or you want to start? You got anything that you want to share personally?
Man, I can start.
By me, bro.
Life lessons. Ooh, I would say, mic working. Okay, I think it worked. A life lesson. I would say something that you have taught me as a life lesson as a man growing into a man is definitely expressing your feelings. Find a safe place or a safe person to express your feelings in like situations that you're going through. Too, in terms of like, I would say like when I was going through my own situations, you kept like one of the things you kept telling me, you was like, Keith, I noticed that like you don't have you don't seem like you have any resources or outsource of a person to reach out to with a lot of things that could be going on in your life. He was like, just for me, reflecting on seeing it as when it is your brother, and as a close friend, just seeing some of the things you're going through, and I noticed that you have not either reached out to me or I don't see you reach out to anybody to talk to it about, and I can see how it's really messing with you, or how it's been affecting your life. Like I feel like that was like a big wake up call for me we had that conversation. It was like, all right, yeah, I gotta get better, and like as a man, especially for my own mental health. And I hope I hope this helps anybody out there that's dealing with a situation similar in their life. Really like find somebody to reach out to, because like I feel like us, especially as black men, we pin up a lot of stuff, and that was something that I did because I don't feel like I had anybody in my family, or like again with me being away from friends, that like so that relationship with past friends kind of dissipates a little bit. Mm-hmm. So like I don't feel like I had anybody to actually reach out to where I was like, oh, I can kind of talk to this person, or I trusted somebody to talk to my personal information with, or life, situations with. And it was like when you told me that, I was like, and I slowly started to open up to you more. I feel like I've seen the shift just from the end of like within like the last 6 months, and then from like the end of 2023 to now. And I'm just like, I can see like I've been more on top of stuff. I've been more like verbal with you and stuff, in terms of like, I'm like, oh, what you doing? Let's like, let's link or whatever, let's talk. And that was something I was bad about, I would say, as a man, because I didn't feel like I could reach out to people, or I didn't feel like, I guess for me personally, I was like, does this person, like, that's my homie, that's my guy, like, but does this person really want to hear my bullshit going on? And it's like, I was viewing it the wrong way. But definitely have conversations with you have helped me open up to like, no, reach out to people, talk to somebody about it, because when you only talking to yourself, you only get so far with that, because we all when you in your own mind, it's like, honestly, like you said, you get this overthinking process where it puts you on a path to like just downhill. And I guess to like go kind of touch base back on the mental health, like a depression kind of deal. And it's like, it's not good, it's not healthy. So definitely when you speak a lot of stuff you want to say, journaling for sure has definitely helped. And reflecting that journal with somebody, if you definitely can, helps a lot. I'll say it definitely eases your mental for the week, for your daily, for the year. It's definitely something that's I like a lot. So
yeah, for sure,
appreciate it.
And I appreciate you sharing that, and that I can make that positive impact in your life. Mm-hmm. And also appreciate you being that same influence and support for me as well. Being able to confide in and also come to and do those mental check-ins with and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And I also want to switch it up and talk more about the career aspect on my side, because like I was saying earlier, work has been going good for me in a sense.
You got some good news.
So like in the next month or two, like I should be getting like a promotion at my job, which is for me in my process a good stepping stone, because I like the job that I'm in. Mm-hmm. I also like the work that I'm doing, even though it's not what I went to school for per se. But at the same time, I feel like my journey has been very steady. And as far as my time manipulation goes, my time is going very well. Exactly. I'm looking forward to this new step up. I'm looking forward to just how it affects my life overall, as far as increasing my stability, things like that.
Do you want to tell the audience like a little bit about kind of like what you do and what's your role for your job?
I want to say in the first episode we did talk about it, but just to give y'all a reminder, I pretty much do mechanical robotics engineering. So like,
he don't look like it when he do this shit.
Yeah. So like, look, like multifaceted, of course. We both are, but at the same time, my main focus in what I do is engineering, and my passion is in healthcare. So like, legitimately, where I'm at in life, I'm feeling very peace with how my job and career is going, but also how my relationship is going. Mm-hmm. Ultimately, how I'm developing as a man. I feel like, as of last year and kind of coming from 2022 more than 2021, because I still was not fully committed to the development, I definitely can say everything's been uphill, and I've been seeing the changes that I needed to happen from my young childhood, young adulthood, to me better being ready for a relationship and true challenges that come with being an adult now.
Like basically, like you starting to see, like they say, the fruits of your labor.
Yeah, and I'm definitely exhibiting not only more patience with myself and just like the challenges that I take on, but I'm also being more, how do I want to describe it? Because patience was one example, but graceful. I'm being more graceful in how I view and respond to things that I also deal with as well.
I got you.
So I definitely want to highlight that to y'all. I definitely want y'all to feel comfortable to highlight that in the chat as well, and also send out your feedback or a story you want to personally share and get highlighted. Because no matter if it's in your career, whether it's in your education, whether it be just in your personal development in life, whether you overcame a goal, overcame a change in your life that you were trying to do, definitely
anything. Depression. I don't care if you overcame your goal of getting your car fixed.
Something, but at the end of the day, always take it humbly. Like, bask in your win, your accomplishment, your achievement. Don't ever sink or sulk in your lows and your obstacles or your challenges, because at the end of the day, you can overcome everything. And at the end of the day, a new challenge is wait around the corner. So don't ever get your pride or your ego too caught into something to where now you're basking too much or arrogantly, boasting yourself. Balance.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, feel comfortable to talk about it, feel comfortable to share it, because you can motivate somebody, you can uplift somebody, you can not trauma bond, but more so support somebody and give them the motivation that they need to overcome their challenge, because they now understand that they're not alone. And that's cliche.
No, you guys about to say, I was about to say something else that's cliche in the sense like you kind of, it's cliche a little bit because it's like when you show somebody that it can be done, now to them, like them as that person, you all, us as well, like it just kind of gives us that sense of like reassurance, like damn, like what I thought couldn't be done, that shit can be done. Like, like when the shit I used to think was impossible, somebody did that shit. Somebody I know did that shit. So that make now you get kind of hyped up. Like damn, like yo, like Linda told me he was gonna do that shit. Like I ain't gonna lie, like I believe he could do it, but like before that, I was like I kind of had a little doubt. Like damn, like could that shit really be done? Like can we do this shit? And it's like yeah, we can do this shit. And to shout out somebody, honestly, you just made me think of something. Shout out Malik, our boy Malik, out in Denver.
Leaky Lee.
He, he do his DJ stuff and stuff with weddings, and he just DJ all the time and mix some music.
Unpopular rant.
Oh God, gotta shout it out. He made a post on his story today, and he was talking about how he wanted to he was learning how to reinvent songs and stuff like that. He heard a song in the gym. He wanted to reinvent it, which I guess in his aspect, again, he can comment that himself. I hope you do, Lee.
But hopefully we get you on the podcast soon, so that way we can pick your brain on your thought process and whatnot.
Most definitely. He showed, kind of like you said, to go back into that, he showed on his story, he showed how he had, I guess, messing around trying to get this perfect, and it was for his small personal win. And he was like, yeah, I've been messing with it for a while, just couldn't get that sound I was looking for. And he got it, and he's clearly showing the video, so he took a clip from something he probably had been recording for minutes or hours. And you just see the excitement, when he get it, he literally in the video, he that's it, I got it, that's what I was looking for. And it's like you said, great, having that gratitude, like they say, for personally, I've been diving more so one-on-one with my friend that's passing our hoop with and everything, and just within the Bible and stuff. And one of the things is having gratitude and grace, like you said, behind every accomplishment and goal that you achieve every day, no matter how small. Because I feel like sometimes we all forget, if I didn't get that promotion, that just means now you get into this doubt or downfall spiral, everything going bad, but you're not paying attention to all the progress that you've made trying to get to that position. You might not got that promotion that time, but you don't realize how much farther you came from before you even started that journey.
Right.
And that's like I said, to pinpoint Leak, just seeing it, it was just that's dope. That's how I be feeling for me, when I'm making a song and it's fuck, I'm trying to get this certain sound, I'm trying to get this certain bar in there, and then you nah, that's the shit. I did that shit.
I made a masterpiece.
Oh God.
Yeah.
So that's definitely like I said, and having gratitude behind it, and going back to like I said, the mental health thing, reassuring yourself. I don't care if you gotta go and walk yourself in the bathroom and look at yourself in the mirror and say you did that shit today. Do that. Honestly.
Yeah.
So just to do that.
For sure. And just to wrap up, the podcast for the day, and wrap up the episode, we wanted to we kind of want to talk about current events that's going on in the community,
Most definitely.
maybe even specifically our community, Black Lives, things like that.
Most definitely.
Pressing issues, something we saw in the news, anything that relates to social justice, maybe politics, or just noteworthy or whatnot. Basically, one thing that I want to shed light to, which I'm not coming from a standpoint of trying to be biased or any type of negativity per se.
Hey, wait, I said, little man, he's some, oh shit, here we go again.
hey, I'm finna get on their ass though, cause I'm finna get on their ass.
Go ahead.
HBO Max. Now you hear me? I'm talking about y'all. Supposedly, it's a few TV shows like Rap Shit by Tiffany Haddish.
I am.
A couple other shows that like were like black central, type TV shows.
Like centered around black actors and mostly black actors
and culture type thing have been getting canceled lately, and it's crazy to me because I think even outside our community, it's getting the popularity and the views. So that's what's been kind of odd is that they've been canceling our shows.
But and
it kind of pissed me off though, cause I was like, low key, y'all got some good content. What y'all doing?
It's like why get rid of something good?
Right. And why get rid of something that culturally brings us together or is shedding a good light content wise on there? Cause like think about it, like I'm shooting the shit, y'all. Rock me. Think about it though. Euphoria, stuff like P-Valley, shit like that, like we kind of get it. It's got some raunchiness to it that's like, it might not be overly positive and highlighting it to the community, but it's still giving y'all
some type of story,
some type of plot, some generational, like, okay, yeah, like we can see how this is common everyday stuff.
Or we can relate to it,
Right. But when you talk about like the show Rap Shit, because I just kind of started peeping a few episodes. I ain't watched too deep into it. Like, trust me, y'all. Like, I'm only speaking very lightly. But it seemed like it was promising. Supposedly, I think it was kind of based on like City Girls or some shit like that.
I think so. I kind of was looking at, HBO got a hell of shit on
Right. But it seemed good content wise. Like good acting for the most part, good plot. It wasn't like Tubi level content. Look.
Hey, what am I? Hey.
I ain't even trying to throw no shade.
He talking about if your ass out here, talking about you a Tubi star.
Look.
He talking about I have respect for you, but please don't walk around boasting like you fucking
Tom
Cruise or fucking or like you Viola Davis or somebody else.
Shit, you ain't made it yet.
Don't disrespect them people because they put a lot of hard work in.
Job is not finished. But look, still, at the end of the day, it kind of throws me off that like we still, in some way, people biting off our culture, people biting off like the trends that we set and kind of exploit our.
No, we gonna fuck that. We ain't gonna say kinda. They be exploiting our shit.
Okay,
they be exploiting our shit.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it a buck.
Keep that shit a band.
Yeah, but it blew my mind, man. And like I felt as a community, we should talk about it, and I definitely think we should find a way to make sure HBO knows our concern about.
Yeah.
Y'all got good content, and people have brought good stuff to y'all table. Don't remove it because you'll be selectively removing your audience.
See, and not to cut you off, like just because it's on my mind, like that whole it's funny like how you said that though too when you brought it to my attention today, because I was like, I've noticed like when I get on HBO Max, like some shows don't be on the feature that are highlighted, and then like when you go look into it, you're like, damn, I didn't even know this was on here, and it's like, and then you start to watch it, like this shit good, and it's like, why the fuck isn't this highlighted? And it's like you said, it's like and we all know, not no conspiracies and all that bullshit, but we all know how the world works. They all have hidden agendas behind a lot of shit. I've been seeing people, like actors come out speaking up on stuff like Taraji P. Henson had a whole rant about the industry and how they told her that she couldn't do stuff overseas and that her character isn't that popular, even though we all know how big she was when she played Cookie in Empire and all that shit. So it's like, it's a lot of bullshit behind it. And then to touch base back on like, you said black shows or stuff that really has a lot of meaning. I remember this show as a kid, Static Shock. And I saw somebody had a podcast a couple years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, and they talked about it. And it was like, it's funny how
you all remember the DC show, Static Shock, how big that was as a character, how big it was as a TV show, and it just randomly got canceled. They said the reason it got canceled because this was around the time when they said Marvel was starting to introduce characters like Blade, X-Men, and superhero wars started to become big. They was like, Static Shock, if you would have looked back at the views, had some of the most views for a black animation show over some of these, Supermans and Batmans and shit. And they was like, it was a threat to them. We can't let a black superhero outshine all these other supposedly big names. And if you go look at, you can look it up on Google, like the net profit or the profit or value of like some of these superhero names, like Pokemon, that wouldn't even be a superhero, but Pokemon, Batman, like Spider-Man. Spider-Man's like one of the most valued like fucking characters. Like they make so much money behind anything that has to deal with Spider-Man. So it's like, yeah, if we let this black character become this top fucking dog,
Kind of like how Black Panther is probably in that running, but still on the low part of the totem pole.
Yeah, and you see how quick they, after like the first film in 2010, how quick they kind of like tried to like foreshadow, put it kind of in the background. Like I love Marvel, but I did kind of notice it. I was like Infinity War. Yeah, he had the little side with Captain America, but it's like, okay, he was one of the characters we killed off. He comes back. Of course, now we kind of save it. We let him be the first character that comes back when Doctor Strange bring back everybody.
I mean, sure, because they on their land and whatnot too, and then on top of that,
yeah,
it doesn't make it no better that that person as an actor, R.I.P. Chadwick Boseman.
Literally.
But in general, he really did make that character that character. Yeah. And his passing did kind of take away from the value of like that black character, that black superhero.
And the future of that character.
Because like Wesley Snipes being Blade, that's one thing. And for the culture, it's like, like that's Blade, that's one thing. But Static Shock, just to understand like that difference, and that's an animated character, that's just a voice behind
comic books. To see a lot of
right, a comic books, description, display of like this superhero, right?
Yeah.
Where Chadwick Boseman on the opposite side of Wesley Snipes seemed more positive, more uplifting, more like you can culturally, everybody can get behind Black Panther before we culturally get behind fucking with Wesley Snipes as Blade.
Yeah,
right?
they did.
You know what I'm saying?
Now I do remember that they did kind of like make Blade like this whole kind of like he good. Like they kind of tried to do like that whole Deadpool thing, but like not as funny as it was really dark, honestly.
Right, but at the same time, when you take some of those layers out and you look at that person, like we were talking about Taraji as a person, as an actress, she puts in the work and the time. But all of them do. But like Wesley has some ups and downs too.
Yeah, his own personal stuff. Yeah.
Right. But as far as that character goes and as far as his popularity and the value he added to that character, like Blade definitely get respect. And he definitely got classics as far as that character in our community. Same with Black Panther. But you can still tell that hidden agenda of like they don't over highlight it or exploit it enough to the point where like they up there with the like if you're gonna talk about Thor, you definitely gonna talk about Black Panther with respect in regard to like his value. Like he was Spider-Man too. Like, it's still very low on the totem pole.
No, you're not wrong, because like I just noticed that, again, Marvel, I love y'all, but like, you gotta come at it. I just noticed like after the success of like, the Miles Morales Spider-Man game and stuff, now they just announced on the Marvel board or whatever for the games, they're making a Blade game. But funny, it's not.
It might be fire.
It is, I think it's gonna be fire. Coincidentally, it's not made by Insomniac, which would have been nice because that's who made the Spider-Man series, and it's been a big success. The Spider-Man the ones, Miles Morales for sure. I mean, when that came out, everybody was talking about it. Spider-Man 2, now you've been able to use both, players, both Peter and Miles Morales. The Blade game, it's like Blade been out there for Miles Morales, so just now getting a Blade game in the works. It's kind of like, it's like it's been years, dude. Like we just now getting that. They all been in adaptation of live action Blade already, and it's like it never got anything kind of to follow up behind it. It's like you said, it's been more like, this is this classic film back in the early 2000s. Same with Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, but like I said, you see the difference of how people react when it's like, Tobey Maguire. You don't hear people like, Wesley Snipes Blade. Like, people that respected that knows it. Of course we do, but for the majority globally, it didn't get that same attention.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But ultimately, good conversation, good discussion today. I definitely feel like we got some good, meaningful conversations out and discussions as far as mental health goes. Checking in with you all, letting you all know
Most definitely.
how our personal life is going. Also uplifting and sharing what's going on in the community. Like I say, share highlights, response, criticism, reviews, your insight as far as some of these discussions, controversial topics, even as far as the HBO Max conversation as well. Like I say, it's no shade towards HBO Max per se, but definitely a call to like
To do better.
do better. Because literally, like, if y'all got us getting y'all support and you got the views, there's no reason why the hidden agenda or the overthought of maybe y'all doing it for a secret intention
Yeah.
should ever come about. Because HBO Max ain't bad. I actually kind of like HBO Max.
HBO Max produce some pretty good fucking content, honestly.
Hell yeah.
Like shows, movies, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, like, for the most part, if you really indulge in it and you go through their catalogs, HBO Max has a lot of good catalogs.
We also talked about social media, kind of how that plays on everything too. And basically at this point, we just leave the floor open to sharing positive note. We want y'all to know that no matter how your week is going, no matter how the month has started out into this new year, that you still got 11 months to go. And on top of that, you got as much time as need to turn it around, to make those changes, to see that positive growth and impact come in your life. So don't ever quit ahead. Don't ever fall short. Get back up. Rise again.
Most definitely. And don't put yourself in a rough spot just because you think you're not doing good enough. Because like you said, unfortunately, we all see it and we all do it unconsciously when we get on social media. Sometimes you do like unconsciously compare things in your life and like, maybe I'm not doing something well enough because I see this person doing this or I see this. Stop doing it. Honestly, you have to like put yourself in the mind, like focus and tell yourself, no.
What A Boogie said, he said, ain't no fucking comparison.
Yeah, literally, ain't no fucking comparison. And I get that because like I feel like he kind of not even start holding up a conversation, but just real quick, he kind of touched based on that a little bit. Like he was like, when getting in the industry, you know, being a new artist and things like that, you do kind of do that sometimes. Where and us as people, we do it in the comments, and we like, oh, this person sound like da da da, and that sound like da da da. So it's like now we playing this comparison game. Like why do we do that? But again, that's for whole other video.
So end on a good note. Stay healthy, y'all. Stay positive.
Yeah.
Remember, check in on your loved ones, friends, family. Even if you think of them, talk about them, whatever the case, because that check-in always makes a grand of a difference on everybody's personal life and uplifting the spirit. Always remember to love yourself. Always make sure that your glass is half full, never half empty. Because if you're not loving yourself, how can you love someone else? And take time to spread love. If you see anybody random, whatever the case, don't feel afraid to have a conversation. Don't feel afraid to dive into a little bit of controversy on the topic, because we all learning from one another. We all should feel comfortable to share with one another. So, on that note, stay raw, stay authentic. We born unfiltered. All of us, we all in it together.
Most definitely. Hey, follow us, comment, subscribe. Like I said, DM us any topics that you all want us to talk about. Any new, like you said, anything that's going on in the world that we can talk about together, not only just us, but you all know what to do.
All raw, all authentic.
See y'all next week.